Powers are some of the most powerful abilities in the game that can make or break a W. The problem is not all powers are created equally. So today we are going to go over the best powers in the game that you should be looking to pick up to win more games using the following criteria. 1, how hard are the powers to find? And 2, how many characters derive value from them? So let's get started and get right into the rankings. All right, let's get started with the two-way teleporter, which is the first one on this list, which actually has a new sprite, as you'll see, with a ton of new powers here today. All the exotic powers will be in red, and there are a few that are not going to be in the next patch, but have been in the past that the devs might bring back. But then again, let's start with the two-way teleporter, which I think, in all honesty, I think it is probably an A tier. It could be an S tier power. It depends on who it is and in what hands, because you can do so many things with this. You can teleport boxes, you can teleport res beacons, campfires, you can use it in the middle of a fight to teleport teams. It is easily one of my favorite powers to use in the game. That being said, there's a very steep learning curve, so if you're new to the game, I would practice with this power, but it would probably go down to like a B or a C tier if you're new to the game. But if you know what you're doing, this power can absolutely change games. So next up, we have Abyss Specialist, which, by the way, is just arguably the best, maybe not the best, but it's one of the best powers in the games. I mean, you can have unlimited dashes if you play around the Abyss. That is a super big deal. I'm telling you straight up, that is a cooldown that you can just continue using. Obviously, yes, you can run out of mana, but the reality is you have so much mobility, and imagine having this on like a Celeste, on an Oath, on a Jewel. Game over. But here's the thing. We follow the Abyss Specialist with one of the craziest items in the game, which is now Abyssal Eye, not Kaiju Eye, which is even better. This is a power that gives you UAV of everyone on the map, on not just UAV though, the color of the team on the UAV. So you know the team composition if you looked at that at the start of the game. It is a huge deal. You can use it right before you rotate into a late game circle, so you know where everyone is. The fact that you have so much information makes this power, honestly, the best power in the game for me. Now, maybe there's one that's better. I'm not quite sure yet. But, I mean, we're up to 2 more Abyssal powers. The next one, it's not Abyssal Scale. It's actually Abyssal Fang. It was Kaiju Scale before, but I would put this... I would probably put this above Abyss Specialist, but just because it's harder to find and get... Maybe I put it a little bit below. You know, I think they're roughly the same idea. The thing is with the Abyssal Fang, sorry, that's going to take a little bit to get used to, is that this functions like a nuke, but it does not hurt teammates. It falls faster, and you can use it much more frequently. I think the reality of it is that this power, because it just doesn't hurt you, you have a lot more opportunities to use this where you can't use a nuke. I think this is honestly one of my favorite powers in the game just because of how much zoning potential you have in a late game circle. You should never be losing a fight if you can hit this power. That's just simple. Now, the last of the Abyssal items, now this one is called Abyssal Scale. They might change the name on this one because it is a little bit confusing. It just blasts people away, gives you a shield, no longer destroys projectiles, at least in my testing. I really do not think this power is that great just because it's harder to find and get. And in reality, I'd rather any of the other Abyssal items over this one. Now, it's not bad, but I'm probably going to put it in like a bottom A tier, high B tier as a result. I just don't love this power. Maybe I'm just terrible at the game. It's one of those powers that I don't love. I would much rather have an Abyssal Eye because that, to me, in a good player's hands, is absolutely game winning. Now, we go to the next power, which is just absolutely insane as well. We've been getting a lot of great powers. I promise there are bad powers in this game. But we have Air Blast, which what I thought before was a pretty forgettable power. But in all reality, it is quite strong. And you really need to be using it proactively because you can use it in a lot of fun and unique ways. Because of that, just the pure peel potential and the way that you can like just influence the fight just by having it, I think I put it above the, it's around where that two-way teleporter is. To be honest, I probably put it above the two-way teleporter and the Kaiju, what is that? Kaiju Scale. It's going to take so long to remember that, but I probably put it above that just because it's easier to use. And for most players, just because of the ease of use, you click a button, you get something out of it. I think that a lot of players are going to find success with this. Now, one that came back with this update, we'll see if they actually still continue to keep it, is the anti-mobility field, which is super fun to use, by the way, and super strong because it stuns people that dash through it. And I think a lot of people don't realize that that's what it does. So you'll catch some people off guard. I personally really like this power. Do I think it's something I want to be taking to end game all of the time? No, because you can just jump pad over it. That being said, I think if you find this in a vault, I'm picking it up. It's going to be a high B tier power. I don't mind if I take it to end zone. I would much rather other things, but it's definitely a good one to keep. So the next one, I don't remember what this is called. I think it's Armor Shredder. It takes the old functionality of radioactive. So we'll see. I mean, Armor Shredder, I think it's really, really strong. I think it's probably better than most red powers in the game, but because I play Zeph and Oath, I don't usually get to use it. I think it is probably up there with Abyssal Eye. Here's the thing. I think Abyssal Eye is the best item in the game. I'll take Armor Shredder and put it right below that. I mean, 5x armor destruction is pretty damn strong. All right, next we have Berry Eater. Berry Eater is really good if and only if you have the condition of having Greenthumb. So we'll rate Greenthumb as well here if I can find it. Because if you can just eat all of the bushes that you put down, it's very strong. The problem is you're not always going to find that. Now you can play to find that, and they have nerfed it quite a bit, but just because you're kind of playing to get it and it's not always good in end circle, it's going to be ending up in a high B tier position for me. Now Greenthumb, honestly, probably going to put it in a similar situation. The problem with Greenthumb and that I like about Greenthumb is that it's good no matter what, because I mean, you can just have pretty much unlimited stealth. It's late circle if you just keep placing it down. People will know the general area of where you are, but they don't know exactly where you are. So you could set some stuff up with that. Some people might call me crazy for that, but I think that power is very, very, very strong. And both of them in conjunction could be an S tier power. Maybe I wouldn't put him that high, maybe high A. All right, moving on to, this is Blinkstone. Thinking on the Blink Dagger. I mean, this is another one that's just absolutely insane. I mean, a lot of these red powers, absolutely insane. I'm picking this if I'm on Oath, if I'm on KP. Sometimes it just makes or breaks characters. Now, it's not good on everyone, but on the people that it is good with, you're probably going to have at least one of them on your team. I would take the Blink Dag over a lot of different things. Now, is it better than Armor Shredder? I don't know. It depends on the character, and that's why you could go either way with one of these things. That's just my opinion. All right, on to Bloodstone. So here's the thing with Bloodstone that's really interesting. It went from a purple power to a blue power, just like the Abyss Specialist went from a blue power to a purple power. Now, do I think that makes the power any better? Absolutely not. I kind of hate the power. I think you could get C level value out of it, but I'm gonna be so real. I just don't like it. I just hate it. I just don't think it's fun. It's super unintuitive. It can get you killed. I don't think it's super, super great. You're realistically running it for Omnivamp, and there's so much anti-heal in this game. You're better off running literally anything else. I'm just being real. I'm just being 100% honest with you guys. All right, but moving on to Brushwacker. Oh man, I love this power. It's super fun. They have so much potential with combos in a custom game with like Ghillie Suit or Greenthumb to just launch boars at people. Super, super fun. Do I think it's super, super great? Not exactly. It's very situational. I think I'm gonna put it at top of D tier, maybe bottom C tier. We'll put it in C tier for now, but this one might move. So stay tuned for that. Now, Bungie Shot. Oh. Bungie Shot, I'm going to have to be honest, might be top of A tier. Because here's the thing. It's one of those things like 2 ATP where it scales with how good you are with this power. This power could be a grapple towards you. You could hook people with it. You could use it for mobility. You could use it for so many different things. You could stun people with this. There's so many opportunities that you can create with a Bungie Shot that I really love this power. Because of the potential it has, I'm putting it at top of A tier. For me personally, I still need to practice with it. Now we have another reprised power, which is Burning Core. I don't love this power, but it's not terrible. Like, it's one of those powers I will pick up, and it will always be decent, but it's not like the best of the best. And with that being said, I think I put it at like a mid C tier. It's nice to do some extra damage, but it's not like you really want this in like a late game circle on most characters. Now you have Brushwacker, which makes you walk faster and have invis out of bushes. Here's the thing. I'd rather just have the Berry Eater passive if I'm running with bushes here. It's not bad. It's just super situational and not great. And the fact that it's situational, I'm going to have to put it in C tier because you really want to avoid the whole situational things. When it is good, it's like maybe bottom B. But like, it's not good all the time. So I'm just going to put it in C tier. Just because Burning Core gets a little bit more use out of it. So we'll see. All right, so now we're going to talk about the runes. I mean, I was going to talk about all the runes at the same exact time. These give you just like passive bonuses. And, you know, they're not bad. They're not bad. The thing is, a power, you want to have something that actually does a little bit more for you than these. Now, here's the thing. Bloodstone arguably does less than most of these runes. So this is the tech rune, which makes you have faster ability cooldowns. So I really like this one. I think I'd put it probably bottom C. Movement rune, I don't think is in the game anymore. It was decent, but I would probably put it in D tier. It's not bad, but there's just better options. Omnivamp rune is the worst in the game. Just like I said, there's just so many anti-heal that you don't really want to build Omnivamp through a rune. In my opinion, now I might bite those words later, maybe at a later date. The anti-heal gets reduced, and this is really strong. But like in the current moment, I wouldn't be picking this up. And then lastly, the mana rune, I think I would put above the CDR rune. I think it's actually pretty good. You can maybe make some builds where you don't need to run a mana item. The problem is, mana items are quite strong right now. So I don't see a world where you would want this thing, but I know that it's nice to have. All right, but moving into Chonker Cannon, I really like this. I really like this power. I'd probably put it in like a mid B tier just because it's really good at holding down an area in late circles. The problem is you have to bring it in the late circle, and sometimes to get to a late circle, you need a little something more before you commit to having this placeable. So I think it's good, and it's really good in specific situations. You can play around it. It's just a little bit annoying to do so. Capture Ball. Ooh, Capture Ball. I think it's a really strong power because it can give you vision if you pick up a mob, no matter what mob it is. It also can pick up things like jellyfish, those ice demons in the Shards of Fate that can do a lot of damage. It has a lot of uses, and it's like one of those things where it's as good as who is using it. The thing is it as good as two-way teleporter, air blast, and Bungie Shot? No, I don't think so. I think it would be about a B tier around the anti-moby field. I'd put it above anti-moby, to be honest. I mean, I know I was glazing anti-moby, but I think this power has a little bit more substance to give in late circles. So moving on to Cremation, I don't think I have an actual recording for this, but what it does is it just makes it so that wisps die faster, I believe, and it takes longer to res them. I don't really want to see this power back in the game because it's just innate to some people's kits, but I don't hate the power. I would probably put it in like bottom C around these passives. It could be really good in some situations. It could be kind of meh. I don't know. I put it about right there. Not great, not terrible. It is what it is. All right, now we're going into the delicate items, which means you have to be at full health to get their effects. And the first one is Delicate Barrier, which I believe means you take 50% less damage for a short period of time if you were full HP, which is really good on Oath, by the way, because it works on his shield. So that is really nice to know if you didn't know that. It does actually do a pretty good job of keeping you alive and not dying instantly. I actually think this power is a little bit slept on. It might be even better than what I'm giving it. I'd put it in B tier, somewhere around here. We'll put it here. It's super situational because you always have to be topped off. And maybe I'm hating on it a little too much. Maybe this power is a lot better than I give it. But this one, it could be better. I don't think it could be worse. I think it could be better. Delicate Disguise. Now, man, it's really good on the characters it's good on, but it's really bad if you put it on a bad character. I'm trying to think, though. You're almost always going to have someone that's going to get some value out of the Delicate Disguise. It is a red power, though, so it's harder to get. Maybe we put it in top A. It's a good power, don't get me wrong, but because it's a little bit rarer to get, it's going to be harder for me to put it higher on the list. Now, Delicate Mana Battery. It can't be as good as Delicate Barrier, but it's a damn good power. So maybe we put up the Delicate Barrier. Maybe we put it up to like here. Because I like it on Zeph because you realistically never run out of mana. It's a really nice power to have. You can forego needing to run a Mana Blade then and maybe run a Quick Blade. But the thing is you're also giving something up to run this. I think it's really good in early fights. But outside of that, it starts to diminish in value as you go on. Now, E-Platform is kind of the opposite. If the zone is a final destination and it's going to on the Abyss, you really want one of these things. In literally any other scenario, why are we carrying this? So I'm going to probably put it above Brushboard, but it's kind of whatever. It's nice when it's nice. It's absolutely pointless where it's pointless. Oh, now we have rewinds. Just like a Tracer Recall. You don't get any of your abilities back. It just rewinds you 5 seconds to where you were. You can do some excellent baiting plays with it. Depends on the character, but I'm going to have to give it somewhere around these red powers. These are like the Thanos powers. If I have one of these 3 powers in a red PvP chest or a boss, I'm taking them every single time. Anything else doesn't really compare. I mean, we'll get to that. But all of these powers are like they are the powers that will win you games. All of these in S tier. So, but okay, now we have another reprise power, which I know a lot of people hate, the fishing pole, but it works much better here. You can fish in water for consumables, or you can hit people with the enemies that is, with the fishing pole to pull consumables off of them and pull them a little bit. Before, you used to be able to KP hook them with it was dumb. It was dumb. But they actually fixed the power where it's not as bad. So here's the thing. I actually like this power a lot because it can be really good in late game scenarios where maybe you can fish people, but they can't hit you. If you can take advantage of maybe jump pads in their inventory, I think taking this to late circle is not that bad. Now, people I think are probably going to put this in D tier. It's a fishing pole, bro. What can it do? I'm going to put it in bottom B. I'm gonna do a hot take and I'm gonna put it in bottom B because it could be crazy. Trust me, it could be crazy, guys. But in reality, I'm gonna have to see. I am gonna make some crazy plays with it. And if you're on the receiving end of those and you're gonna call me out and saying this is dumb, well, I told you so. So let's move on to the next one. Fixer. This is not multi-tool for those that have been veterans for a while. It does what multi-tool does, but it's not an item. So you can pick up base camps for free and really fast, and also repair res beacons really fast. But here's the thing. Do I love this power? Am I going to be carrying it around a lot? It depends on the type of lobby I'm in. If I'm in a pub lobby and I'm just stomping on people, I think this power sucks. If I'm bringing it into a tournament, it gets a lot of value if I have a fire. The thing is it as good as a two-way TP? I don't know, guys. I don't know. It is good, but is it the greatest? I'm going to put it smack dab in the middle. I think it could be really good. It could be really just meh. Depends on the type of lobby you're in. For most players, I would say don't pick it up because you're just learning the game and it doesn't really matter to have a campfire in pubs. If you're a veteran player and for the longevity of this tier list, I'm going to put this in the middle of B. That's just my take. All right, now we have Forestwalking. Here's the thing. You walk through trees. Great. Who cares? Okay, well, maybe it's not as bad as Bloodstone, but respectfully, who cares? It could be great in some scenarios, but with all due respect, we do not care. Next is Friend of the Forest. I'm pretty sure this is a reprised power, just like Forestwalking was. You get mana by standing next to trees.
We do not care.
We do not care. These powers are simply there to take space. So maybe some of these older powers that are a little bit more fun to use get added. Maybe. Ghillie Suit. Now, this one's fun because Ghillie Suit makes you a bush. And who likes prop hunt powers? I like prop hunt powers. Why? Because they're fun. And we're actually gonna review both of them. The one that makes you a bush, I really like because you can cap enemy base camps and they don't know where you are. They don't know where you are. They don't know what side of the fire you're on, or if you're still gonna stick to it, or if you have another teammate nearby that's standing in your bush. They have no clue. So that is a really fun interaction. Also, you can combo this with Boar, with Brushwacker, and I think that's it. So here's the thing. I think Ghillie Suit, it's not quite D tier. I'm gonna put it at bottom of C. That's all I'm saying. I actually think Ghillie Suit is quite fun. Now here's the thing. People are starting to shoot bushes. Are people starting to shoot trees? When you're a tree prop hunt, you have a far less chance of getting shot by enemy team players. Seriously, guys, if you get creative in a late game circle and you know there's a fight going on nearby and you have one of these powers and you're the last man standing, you will live. And you might think prop hunt powers are dumb, but they seriously do get value for you. So keep that in mind. But moving on to the next one, Glider Jets. I think it's good for an engage tool. I don't think it's as good to leave because you're never going to get to pull your glider out. It's nice for map traversal. And overall, it's just it's a decent power. I would probably put it in B tier. It's not the best. It's not the worst. I'll pick it up. All right, so we're going to move on to the Grapple Hook. I think this power is absolutely insane. Depends on the character. Actually, I don't even think it depends on the character you're on. There's so many techniques you can use to get more out of this power. Honestly, could it be S tier? Maybe. Okay, maybe I'm coping. I think it's top of A because the more I use this thing, the more I think every single time someone on your team should be picking this up. I think that it has great, just all around its ease of use, but also the ceiling in which you can make shit happen. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's perfect. I sound like Homelander right now. But anyways, moving on to GA, Guardian Angel. We're going to use the purple one first. I think the purple one is really good. I don't think it's one of the best powers in the game because realistically, if you play really, really well, you probably aren't going to need to use this power. That being said, it's always good. I think I would put it probably above the Abyssal Scale because I hate this power. I'm the biggest Abyssal Scale hater. I really like Red GA because of the boxes. The problem is, and like I said at the start of the video, how rare this thing is. Am I really going to pick Red GA over a blanket stone, an armor shredder, or a rewind? If I get the option, am I really going to be taking it over any of these? I don't think so. I don't think so. So I'll put it above the normal GA. I'll put it above that, but I will not be putting it above anything else. I think, don't get me wrong, it can win you games. You can box res people without box resing them. You just tap the box. It could be really good. But the problem is, you shouldn't be dying in the first place. And look at all these powers that are going to prevent you from dying because you win the fight easier. Case closed. Moving on to health packs. Health packs are really, really good. They're not as good as they could be because anti-heal is so prevalent right now. That being said, the mobility you can get off of them is really fun and really strong. I'd put it above GA. Maybe not above red GA. They're decent, not crazy. Now, homing missile used to be really, really bad, but now it can do upwards of 500 damage if you hit it. So I think this power is not that bad. I'd probably put it atop of C. Because at least you can poke with it. All these other things are pretty situational. At least you can poke with this thing. There's a lot of powers in this game. Holy. I mean, a lot of these aren't going to be in the game. Or not even a lot. Some of these aren't going to be in the game. We're just getting familiar with them, but still. Okay, Hover Wings. Oh my lord. Hover Wings might be better than most red powers in this game. Maybe not Abyssal Eye, because I love that power, but Hover Wings, when it's good on a character, it's game breaking. And it's easier to get than all of these. So Hover Wings, they're just insane. I'm just gonna be honest. If you're not using them, just learn them, and you'll start doing things you should never do in a game, ever. You become a developer with this power. So just keep that in mind. All right, but moving on to, these aren't Hover Wings. These are the Icarus Wings. You can see a little bit of flame on them. It's kind of hard. Here's the thing. They do too much damage to you when you actually do the thing that they're meant to do when you're burning in the air. You can use them to get away, sure. My problem with them is that they're a red power, and it's like all the other red powers I would rather have than this. Like, I'm almost convinced in putting it in D tier. Like, I just don't like it. The thing is, it's not bad. It's not terrible. If I have to pick it up because I have literally nothing else, it's not terrible. I'll put it maybe like B tier, above delicate. I don't know. I don't like it. What used to be water bottle is now Vive infuser, or I think that's what it is. I don't remember quite exactly what it is. I think this power is really good. It's really good at getting you back into the game. That being said, in that sense, it is kind of situational. I put it top of C. I probably put it top of C, like around here. It's really good at getting you back into the game if you don't have food. Other than that, it's okay. You do want to get rid of it eventually in the game, but it does save you a lot of time. Now, Iron Fist, man, like, it's nice, but is it better than a lot of the stuff we've already rated? I'm not sure. I would probably put it around top, maybe in B tier, around the delicate mana battery, because I would rather have that than mana battery late game. Because it is nice to have a little bit of knockback, but there's just so many other options that are just straight better. They're just so much better. That being said, we're moving on to Little Cook. Little Cook is really fun. He does give you he does give you a chance at jump pads and could save you a lot of gold. Because of that, I think he's around Fixer tier. I don't know, maybe B tier around here, maybe above Glider Jets. He could be really good. He could be really Depends. He's kind of a gamble, but more times than not, I'm getting a jump pad out of it, so I'm getting value if there's no shop that's safe. Mana Cloud is, how many times do you run into it that everyone on your team is running out of mana though? And it's just that situation doesn't happen a lot. I'm gonna have to put it below or just around Brush Boar. Not a terrible power, just not great. I'll put it in C tier. The Mana Tap, I also am probably gonna put around that. We don't have footage for that because it is an older power that is taken out of the game. I doubt they're gonna put it back in, but it kind of functions in the same way as Mana Cloud, just a little bit more efficient if there's mobs nearby. If there's not, it does nothing for you. I could see them bringing it back. I just don't love it. It's kind of whatever. It's meh. It's okay. But now we got Money Trees. Ooh, Money Trees. Where do I want to put Money Trees? Could give you gold. If you combo it with some powers, it could be really good. On its own, it also gives cover. You know what, guys? I'm going to give it a B tier. Just because of the way that you can influence the map. We'll put it around, yeah, maybe put bottom B tier. Could be really good, could be really bad. I actually think people are sleeping on this power a little bit. So, Money Trees, don't sleep on it. Mortar is now a blue power. Does it change any of my preconceived notions about it? Not really. That being said, it is a late game poke tool. It's a little harder to pull off than the homing missile. I'll put it below Burning Core. Power Shuffler. Now here's the thing, right? Power Shuffler is weird. It's like you realistically with the Power Shuffler, you can get any power in the game. It's just that the longer the game goes on, the less value you're getting with the Power Shuffler, so it's situational. That being said, I think it's one of the better powers in the game because technically you could get anything, and if you have a red power you don't like, it will always give you another red power. So you can keep rolling for one of these bad boys. So in that sense, it's a really good power. You definitely shouldn't let other people just get it for free. Radar Jammer, I think it's okay. I also think sometimes I want to be seen on the radar so people know that I'm coming and I'm going to make their life difficult. But at the same time, having that incognito effect, it could be helpful. I think it is somewhere in C tier, probably around here. It's situational, and we're running out of space in C tier, which is really not ideal. We got Rally. Rally is, it could be really good. People don't really use it correctly. I think it's bottom B, to be honest. I think there's just powers that are better. The speed boost is nice, but it's not like crazy. Okay, Raven Spy. Ooh, I really like this. It's also really situational. It does a lot of damage now, and the vision it gives you for how long it sticks around, I think this power is insane. But at the end of the day, I'll probably put it around Capture Ball, because Capture Ball can do kind of the same thing, just not... Capture Ball gives you less vision for more util of like damage, whereas this gives you more vision, but you need a tree. So I'll put it around Anti-Moby, maybe above Fixer. Yeah, I'll probably put it there. And at the end of the video, we will make sure that all powers are visible. I did not realize that this many powers were kind of like decent and are okay to pick up. All right, but we got Red Nuke. Red Nuke, you know, let's review Actual Nuke first. Actual Nuke first, I think, is okay. It's probably bottom A tier. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it's as crazy as some other people think. I mean, you can force people off their position late game. The problem is anything before late game, it's kind of like a Chonker Cannon. You're not really getting a whole lot out of it. That being said, this is the de facto the GOAT of endgame, because sometimes you'll just be able to kill people and they'll have nothing they can do about it. It just wins you a game. Now, when you move on to Red Nuke, this thing, honest to God, I mean, the Red Wings are worse, but this thing's pretty terrible too. If you can manage to pick it up, sure. The Mega Cluster Nuke is all right. It's fun. It's fine. The problem is, look at all the other red powers. All right, now we're moving on to Regen Armor. I'm going to be honest. This is a hot take. I hate this thing. It's terrible. I'd rather be able to move faster with the movement rune than this thing. The rate at which it regens your armor is so slow, you might as well not even pick it up. Remote Laser, you get to put down too. The problem is, I think Chonker Cannon is just better. Remote Laser is better earlier in the game because you can pick it up. It's not crazy, super situational. I'm probably putting it above Rally. You can't see it, but it's bottom of B tier. We'll make sure we move the camera at the end. Replicator is, oh man, Replicator is really strong. Is it as good as some of these other red powers? It depends on when you get it. The earlier you get it in the game, the better, because you'll get more uses out of it. At the end of the day, it's only as good as the people that are using it, because you can break it. Man, where do I want to put Replicator? Ooh, this one's a hard one. I think we put it maybe where this red GA is. It's hard. This thing could be crazy. It could be kind of meh. Maybe actually we put it S tier. I'm gonna be honest. Maybe we put it S tier. I put it bottom S tier. How much are you rolling? How many gold armors are you gonna be duplicating? You're gonna get all your items. The thing is you need to know how to do that. And right now in the game, a lot of people don't know how to do that. That being said, it's still crazy. Rescue Nade. Oh man. Rescue Nade is one of the best powers in the game because you can pull people in. You can pull a Celeste into an enemy team. You can use this to traverse the map. It is insane. People just aren't using it correctly yet. It's one of those high skill, high reward powers. I think because it's also really easy to find as well, I put it somewhere in here, maybe above the red, below the red GA. And it heals, by the way. And it heals. I like this power a lot. Robber Raccoon, super situational. Because you can steal vaults with this, you can steal souls with this. It could be really strong if you're good with it. But I feel like most of the time in terms of combat, it doesn't really do anything for you. It's purely for the neutral game and just stealing stuff. It can only go so far. Because of that, it goes to top of B tier. Sand Wall is probably one of our last purple goated powers. It's like a Celeste Wall, but It slows enemies. It's really strong. That being said, where would I put it? Probably around Air Blast. I think it's like considerably similar in terms of power. It's probably somewhere around this area in A tier. It's one of those powers that are just like one of the best in the game. And I'm going to want to pick it up no matter what. Like anything in this A tier, I'm looking at it and I'm pretty sure most veteran players would be like, yeah, I'm picking that up every single time I see it. All right, Scuba Gear. You know, nothing can be as bad as Regenerative Armor and below, but it's pretty terrible just from how situational it is. But when it is really good, it's great. The thing is, your whole team cannot get Scuba Gear anymore because it's not buyable from the shop. Stasis Heal, I don't believe we have any footage for. What it used to do is make you stand still. You used to be able to heal. They took that out, but now you just stand still. You can't move, but you're invincible. It's really good if you get hard dove, and then their whole team just inted a bunch of cooldowns onto you, and then, oh, you can't do it anymore. Oh, you just lost the fight. It's kind of a knowledge check. It's a very big IQ check. It is a red power as well, even though it doesn't look it. I put it around here. I mean, all these red powers, these are bad. Like, these are bad red powers to pick up because all these are better, but they're not bad powers, all things considered. I'm still wanting to probably take any of these over them, though. Maybe I'm crazy for that. Stealth Cloak, until they nerf it to a point where you can't just have, like, near infinite invis, it's going to be one of the best powers in the game. It's effectively a delicate disguise. And it's easier to use. That being said, it depends on the character that you're on. Sometimes the character will get a lot out of it. Other characters won't. I'll put it in A tier. I don't know where I want to put it though, because it's super situational. I'd probably put it around the delicate disguise. We'll put it like here. And maybe below that. Maybe like here. I don't know. Not really feeling like it. It's somewhere around there. It's a good power. All right, but now we're on to Team Frog Jump. It's effectively a jump pad for your whole team. The problem is there's so many other options that are just better. I don't think it's as bad as these red powers. Like, I do like this power. I do want to show that. I'll probably put it here above the Abyssal Scale, because having a jump pad on a power is really nice. It's really nice for late game circles, and it's nice to peel for yourself too. But now we have the Chonker. It's kind of the same area as Chonker Cannon for me, because it's really good earlier in the game, but falls off later in the game. Chonker Cannon, bad earlier in the game, really good in the late game because you're holding a position. This is nice to just pull out in the middle of the fight and just whip it out. Is it one of the best powers in the game? Used to be, not as good now. So, you know what? Put some respect, though, on the Chonker's name. It's not completely terrible. Now, here's another one that's really fun. I don't have footage for. Thorn Shell gave you armor, and whenever anyone shot you, they would take damage. I absolutely loved this power when it came out, but for some reason, they took it away. In my opinion, Safe Locked, if you're still watching at this point or watched it at all, please take out some of these really boring powers and put this one back in. It was super intuitive, easy to learn, and just absolutely dope. That being said, I probably put it somewhere in this B tier. I probably put it above Little Cook because it's always going to be useful. The Timber power, which is back, fells trees and can stun people behind them. It's good if you have the combo. If not, it's pretty darn terrible. That being said, I probably put it in C tier with all the other situational powers. The touch powers. Ooh, these powers are pretty decent. If you know, just drop them and keep using them. That being said, some are better than others. Touch of Life, I think, could be really good. These powers I'm a little perplexed by because I don't think we've been using them to their highest potential. Touch of Life, only as good as if there's no anti-heal. So I'll probably put it below Little Cook. I don't think you guys can see that. You'll see it at the end. Touch of Mana, I think, is god-awful. I think this power is god-awful because there's just better powers for mana like we've seen with Mana Cloud. I'll probably put it around them. I thought it's probably the worst of the mana powers. I think it's horrible. And Touch of Speed, I think, is one of the better touch powers. I'll probably put it above the Little Cook. Now, here's the thing. I think these powers could be better in the right hands. You just have to know how to use them. All right, so now we're going to move on to the final three powers. We have Tree Prison. Tree Prison used to be really good. Now, I think it's still good. People are kind of hating on it a little bit too much. It's definitely better than Money Trees. I would put it probably around Money Trees, though. I'd probably put it above Iron Fist because you can create cover with it. You can still trap people with it. It's just harder to do. I think the main idea is that you can create choke points with it by forcing people to not go into the trees or shoot the trees and waste time. So I actually think Tree Prison has some creative uses that people aren't using. But now we're on to Wisp Vacuum. Wisp Vacuum, it's okay. It's one of those powers that's better the better you are at the game. And you could create some situations where you absolutely secure every single kill you get, which is really nice. I'd rather have almost any other red power. I think it's definitely better than like GA because of its being harder to get. I don't want to put it any higher than that because GA is also really strong. This is like the counter to that, to the red GA. I just don't want to put it any higher than that. Now we have X-ray goggles, which you can effectively see through walls. You know, it's not bad. It's not bad. The thing is, you can just kind of do it with a teammate. They can just kind of look for you, and then you could go for the hook. That being said, you can also just see people where you didn't know they were before. I'm going to have to put it probably top B. I know this could be a really good power. I'm just not quite sure yet. Okay, so I'm a man of my word. There's actually, here's the thing. Before we do that, there's one more power. It is Jug Dash that I don't have a PNG for. If I were to put Jug Dash on this tier list, I would probably put it about where this red nuke is. Or, yeah, probably where the red nuke is, if not a little higher. Or a little bit, just around this top A to bottom, or top B to bottom A. Because, again, all these other red powers are just better. So if you don't see Jug Dash, that's why. For some reason, I couldn't get the PNG for that. Here's the entire tier list. All of the powers that are currently in the game, some that are not, that might come back. So we gave our thoughts on all of those. You can look at the description and maybe I'll be able to put timestamps in. I probably won't because I'm a lazy guy. In the future, I will be making a powers guide. I do not know if it's going to be coming out this week or if it's going to be coming out when other stuff comes out, when the devs update the game a little bit so we know what powers are going on. We'll have to see. But if you like this type of content and you want to see more power stuff, make sure you subscribe because, like I said, there will be more stuff coming in the future with all of this. But I hope this stands the test of time. I hope this is realistic. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. But until next time, I've got to peace out and Paz out. I'll see you in the next one.